Welcome to our podcast.
This is a space we've created with love, a place where real people can share their healing journeys without fear or shame. Through honest conversation and deep connection, we hope to reveal that no story is too messy or too far gone for God's grace. We're passionate about exposing cultural blind spots, sharing truth with compassion, and glorifying God as the ultimate healer. His love on the cross conquered all, and that changes everything.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for being here again. We are here to finally do the second part of my story. But before we do that, I wanted to, again, thank you so much for the comments and and subscribing, because let's be honest, that's probably the best way for you guys to continue seeing whatever we're doing here.
And this is really, I just have to give my husband a shout out for being brave enough to come on here and share, because it's not easy. This is a story that has come out to me in pieces over the last 2 years. So this is really the first time that he is sitting down and sharing his story from start to not finish, because it's not finished yet, but to where we are now.
Yeah.
God has done a lot of healing in him to be able to share like he is today. And I just want to bless you for that, babe.
Thank you. Except it's not to where we are now. It's to where we were
When we met.
Yes. And, but yeah.
A lot of stuff happened after that, right?
Yeah.
Where we left Juan last was in New York City still, renting a bedroom from an older lady who owned the apartment and feeling pretty lost and confused about life, not feeling successful in his goal to bring his mom up to the States. Things weren't coming together financially like he had hoped. He had just lost his job, kind of at a hopeless place in life.
Mm-hmm.
So take it from there.
For sure. And that is why I decided to call my dad and ask for help to move to Allentown, because I lost my job and just figured like, oh, what now? I'm gonna lose the apartment or the bedroom. Then I get kicked out. So I called him, and he was very willing to do that, to pick me up and help me and have me move with him, and help me continue to get on my feet. And that was quite helpful, and I was happy for that. Remember driving to Allentown and looking at the trees left and right on the highway, and I'm like, man, this is looking good. I'm excited to be outside of out of the city, where all you see is people and buildings, not too much nature. And yeah, Allentown was great. There was a park right down the street with river and all kinds of stuff, and that was really good. But I moved with my dad, who was living at the time with a lady, a girlfriend, and two of her kids and her mom. So I was sharing the bedroom at that time. No, actually, I was in the basement. It was a little room, and I moved there. Little after that, I got my permit, and little after that, I got the license, and I got a job doing delivery for a restaurant. After my dad helped me get a car, Chevy Cavalier stick shift. That was good. It was fun. Yeah, I felt like came out for some good air and had a new head start, and it was good. It was really good. Yeah, at that point, there was a supermarket close to home that I would go sometimes, obviously to buy groceries, and one of the cashiers, I started bothering her. A few months later, we started dating. Along those time is when yeah, I think I was almost 20. She was 17, still going to high school and stuff. And my dad and the lady he was with, things were not working out. So me and him moved out on our own. And so, yeah, my girlfriend at the time, we were dating for a while. And uh, something happened to our home with her. And, me being obviously her boyfriend, we decided to move together. And so she moved with me and my dad. Yeah. But we moved there. We were together for about a year before the one of the greatest thing in my life happened, which was my son Matthew. But yeah, the whole thing was beautiful, but it was hard because again, we were now led into what a good um, home looks like. We didn't necessarily have much of a um, foundation, I should say it, and encouragement and guidance.
You guys were young.
We were young, yes.
21,
I
2.
was well by the time we lived together. Yeah, we were for a year. I was 21.
And
Yeah,
you were 22 when Matthew was born.
yeah. So and then my son was born in when I was 22. 21 the end, because he was born April 21st, and I am April 30. So technically 22.
What was that like becoming a dad?
Crazy. I was just excited, and it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, for sure.
Was he a surprise child?
Um, she was having back pain, I remember, and we went to the hospital to get checked and stuff, and they decided, oh, maybe we can do that a test here too. And yeah, that's when we found out. We were both surprised, but
Were you both excited?
yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Well, she thought she couldn't have babies because then there's like a cousin and maybe someone else in her family that cannot have kids. So she thought she was also sterile.
So this is like, wow, game changer.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she was sad, but before that, and then once she found out, she was excited. We were both happy. Um, but yeah, so she gave birth to him when she was 19. So you can only imagine how young that is. Um, so yes, by the time actually she gave birth, little before, yeah, a few months before that, me and her moved uh alone. Um, my dad moves elsewhere. And the so yeah, we had our own place. Um, so being so young, I'll say, yeah, having a child that young, it could be either very good after that, or it can be very difficult.
Yeah. How did you experience the responsibilities and the changes of parenting for your relationship?
Yes, it was extremely amazing to have him there, but it was hard. It was really hard. There were so many things that were changing. Um, it's no longer just me and her, of course, and just when we were dating or living together, we had difficulties sometimes. Just like most couples,
Mm-hmm.
but everything became 10 times harder, and we grew apart, and we also had some of our mutual friends that grew us apart too. They were introducing things to our home that were not helpful or healthy, and yeah, we got to the point of, hey, we cannot get along too well. And for the sake of him and us, like, we don't need to live a miserable life. We can just separate. We try, but it's just not working. And so, yeah, by the time he was like 1.5, we were working on getting separated, still living under the same roof, but we wanted to do it right. Obviously, it's not right, but we thought it would be right. And what's
So
that?
you were co-parenting under the same roof
Right.
for Matthew's sake,
Yes.
but not living, not like
Yeah.
not functioning as a couple anymore.
Right. Exactly. But again, we were wanting to get separated. We just it wasn't working out, obviously. So through some events that happened that were negative, of course, she moved out, and I stayed with Matthew, the place that I was at, and she would take him, depending on our work schedule. We didn't have any, what's it called, custody, and yeah, whenever work for both, and that's actually how it was for the last 16 years.
I feel like even though you didn't continue to function as a couple, you both did well at respecting each other as Matthew's parents
Right.
and relating well
Mhm.
as a team as much as possible.
Yeah. Well, we realized poor kid was not gonna have the greatest life, so we decided to fight for him, and uh, even our separate ways, we wanted to give him the best, and we didn't do the best job, but turned out to be a great kid. But that's in the future. Um, so yeah, we were moving. We lived to separate.
So
Um,
Matthew's home base was kind of with you at this point, though, or were
I
you?
mean, I guess yeah, I
Yeah.
stay where we were together. Yeah, so she had a different place, but um, yeah, he would spend time with her, and we were we were committed to go our separate ways and everything, but um, to me, it wasn't until a week later that I realized my son was gonna live the life that I was living, separate homes, and it's when I experienced, the greatest pain I ever felt in my life, because I just realized, like, man, I have been a selfish, ignorant guy that thinking like, oh, you can just meet somebody else and do life well and whatever. But I wasn't. I mean, we wanted to stay together, but it wasn't working out. But when I realized that my son was not gonna have a mom and dad at home together life, it's the first time in my entire life that I felt deep, deep, unbearable pain. Um, it's just a beautiful, amazing creature.
2 years old at this point.
About, yeah, 2 years old, that did not deserve any of this, and it's what he was facing now. So
You knew what it was like to grow up without a dad and a
right,
mom that lived together, and that was never a pain you wanted to pass on.
it wasn't not something I wish on any child. I mean, um, I just hated being there, especially when he would be with her. I was alone at home, just going crazy. It's just not something I was able to handle.
And on top of losing your son and his mom, and them losing you, you also lost quite a few friends
Mhm.
over that time as well, just due to the dynamics of how you and she separated.
Yeah. Yep.
And so It was probably the most alone you'd been in a while.
Right. It was again horrific. But it was it was something that needed to happen for sure. Uh,
It doesn't make it easy though.
no. And the reason I say that is because God was using that really, really heavily, so to call me to Him once and for all. Yeah, that didn't work. I mean, I had I met some other friends through work, and I went to the clubs very few times, but I was trying different things. I got drunk probably 2 times around that time, and just suffering. So
Was that your way of processing the pain and the grief of the separation and
right,
everything that was happening?
yeah, because I always was afraid of like heavy drugs. So I felt like alcohol was something that was I seen since a child. I was like, oh, let me see what how this actually numbs the pain. But um, yeah. So I was doing stupid stuff, and and I just kept working and trying, and one day at a time, getting by. I think every day I will conquer was step towards um some sort of a hope, and now I'm here, like understanding a little bit more about life, and feeling pain in a deeper way. And I just remember again, like I didn't want to be alive. There were days that I was just crying. I remember one time I was just walking on the street and wanting to get run over, but didn't have the guts to really stand in front of the car. So, and I'm thankful for that, of course. Um, but yeah, we actually, me and Matthew's mom, we tried again to be together. Tried again for him, for his sake, and it wasn't little before we realized, no, this isn't working. We actually tried a third time, and that's when we realized never again. It's not gonna work. Um, but yeah, just around that time, I was able to bring my mom into the States, and then my mom and I moved together. And so yeah, she was going to a church, Pentecostal church, and she said she saw me one day coming home, just drunk and um sad. She knew I was going through stuff, and she's like, "Why don't you come with me?" She was crying and sad. She's like, "Why are you doing this to yourself? Like, why don't you come to church one time with me and things like that?" And I was like, "Oh, whatever. I'll check. I'll go." And my thought was like, I'm gonna go just to check what where she's going to and what the kind of people that she's hanging out with. Um, and yes, I went and visited, and I think it was a few times that I visited, and when I finally felt like my life, the life I was living, was just going nowhere. I needed something more, and that's when I finally let the door open wide enough that I felt like Jesus took over, and the Holy Spirit just changed my life. I was just literally excited about everything. I was happy. It was such a weird transformation, but I was really, really wanting to take on the world in a positive way, of course.
Can you tell us a little more about your conversion experience, like how you met Jesus?
Well, I had prayed multiple times in the past. Jesus come into my heart and change me and transform me. Like I remember there one time in the city not where I live with my cousins in the Bronx. I called one. It was actually my computer teacher from high school. I remember he was a Christian, and we were texting through MSN, which is old
It's
texting
before my time.
Hotmail, yeah. And he led me through praying that, and because I was depressed and sat there and crying, confused. But yeah, this time at the Pentecostal church, I just there was so much beauty. The youth were on fire to um live for God, and I was like, man, I want this, and God's like, yes, I've been wanting you to want this for a long time. Take it,
I
take.
feel like so much of your life was a search for God. Like you said, you
Mhm,
prayed, you asked God into your heart, but you didn't have any foundation to anchor that into,
mhm,
and so it just became somewhat useless to you.
right,
You had that desire, but where do you start when you don't even have a base
exactly,
for how to belong or experience value or be loved?
yeah, and yeah, we need to do a better job at always discipling the people that are on the new path and alone. But yeah, it was a great experience. I remember I read a whole book of the Bible. I think it was Isaiah. Like I was just on my bed and like reading and reading and reading and just a hunger and a thirst for more of Him. Like, but yeah, at the same time, you really quickly enough you start seeing people that are kind of like on that path in a shallow way. I remember one time we went to hand out tracts, and the person that was supposed to be the leader of the youth at that time was like, "Oh, how many we have left? Oh, finally, yes. So just a few more so we can." I was like, "Man, I thought we were doing this for connections, and like, why are we just wanting to hand them out and be all done with it and go home and do it as a like, oh, we had to do this. Let's do it quickly and be done." Anyways, that was disappointing, but again, it's a broken world. That's why we have to look up, and Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. So at that point, in that church, I little after had a yeah started dating somebody from the Christian from the church. A girl that was a lot younger than me, about 8 years. So she was 18. I would have been 26, something like that. Yep,
Which would have made Matthew 6,
around
5.
5, something like that. 22 to 6. Oh yeah, 4ish. 4, yeah. Um. So that was the journey there. We
This would have been your first relationship after Christ.
right, yes, and to I guess we can talk later more about church stuff and on these separate videos. Yeah, but just I'll continue with my life. Yeah. So fast forward, we dated for about 2 years. Um, and things didn't work out, and I'm living with my mom, like I said, this whole time, and it's just so yeah, we separated, and it's a journey of wanting to connect, wanting to serve God in a passionate way, and wanting to be part of something big. Because I was like, man, I'm serving a big God. Why do I have to live a simple life? It's kind of how I felt like I was going about certain things, and I just wanted more. But at the same time, yeah, it wasn't. And this is not an excuse. I just know that I wasn't really guided. Um, um, again, having biblical men that would show the path. Like even though the Bible shows it clearly, you have to somehow you have to see it too and experience it, and surround yourself with those kinds of people. So yeah, fast forward, kept trying to connect, kept trying to have a family, um, for a home, for my son. Tried again, and ups and downs in life. You start, obviously, now that you see God for who He is, you start to see sin for what it is, and how dirty it is, and how real it is, and how damaging it is. Um, so yeah, about 2 years later, like I said, we separated. And that just brought shame and guilt, and I'm not good enough again, like all this stuff, and at some point the opportunity to sleep with somebody came about, and so yeah, that just opened a door that I was really not wanting to open it again, and so it's almost like I just put God on a shelf a little bit, and I wanted to pursue me. I mean, some sort of recognition, because, or not recognition, some sort of connection. Yeah, because again, I just was lonely and depressed and disappointed, and um, but of course, like I said before, sex was always shallow, but at this point it was just really, really different. It was just really hard. And you would probably ask, like, why would you do it again? I really don't have the answer to that, but um
Hard as in frustrating.
yeah, like it brought so much shame and guilt, that, because like I said, sin at this point was way more heavy and meaning, like, real. So every time I would take part of that, I didn't know who I was. I'm like, what is happening? Why, if I am a Christian, why am I doing this? Um, but something about, like, your struggles in the past are, or the things that are you used to, like, they're hard to.
Does it kind of create a cycle,
Mhm.
like a shame cycle? You've
Right.
done it before.
Right. Yeah.
You feel shame, and it drives you back into it.
Mhm. Exactly. It's a cycle, and so really hard things that I was never proud of. Many times I wanted to. I felt like I had something to offer somebody and help and this and that, and behind that there was that desire to obviously also please myself, and but I went into uh, those things many times trying to supposedly help, but I ended up sleeping with the person, and it's just another cycle of destruction and disappointment and confusion, and just thinking, like, okay, well, if this is how I'm gonna be, like, again, what's the point of doing life like this?
Satan was trying hard to make that your identity and
Yeah,
keep you stuck.
and just again, just really confused. I'm like, what am I gonna do? I want to get rid of this, because I know how bad it is. God doesn't want this. Um, it's hard for me to stop it. Um, I know I cannot take my life away to stop it. So I was just like, I felt stuck, and to me it was just, I guess I'll do it until, or whenever the time would happen. Yeah, I would do it and give into it. Um, so at some point, yes, I work at a place, and mind you, all this time I'm switching jobs, um, thinking, like, I was made for so much more. Why am I here doing this? Like,
That was the call of God in your life because you were made for so much more.
yes, I'm just like, I'm not, I don't feel here. I thought I was just a lazy, useless, and the other is, yeah. A few years ago, I just realized, like, man, I was never lazy. I was just not,
You didn't find your purpose.
yeah,
You hadn't found your purpose yet.
I was just
You
not,
sense that God has something bigger for you,
I
but
couldn't
how to
settle,
get there?
right? I couldn't settle for just anything. I always wanted so much. Um, I never thought I would have you, but yeah, that's crazy. Anyways,
Well, you didn't even know the Mennonites existed at this point.
no, I didn't. I think I heard words of Amish, and then at a thrift shop I saw a van put full of plain looking ladies. I'm not sure what they were at that time. That's the first time I seen them. But anyways, so at some point I work at a place that it's where I met um the mother of my youngest son. But interesting enough, we never actually talk or anything. But we had a common friend that after I quit that job, he's like, oh, yeah, what about this person, so and so? Well, I don't know. I don't think she would interested or anything. Long story short, he connected us, um, and sure enough, we went out for a date or two, and so yeah, a little after that, obviously we were dating and just doing normal dating things. And I remember one of the first things I said was like, "Hey, I believe in sex. I don't like I don't want to do sex outside of marriage. You know, I believe
You
I
wanted to do this relationship
right.
right once,
Yes,
huh? Mhm.
she has other kids and she's a few years older than me. So I was just looking at it in a way of like I just want to have a family, and again, give a family to my son and just do it right. But obviously, both of us being in past relationships, that I mean, she was excited about that, and it's like, wow, that's very respectful. But that didn't last forever. Um, so yeah, we gave in to the temptation, and we did sleep together before marriage, and we proposed and had everything lined up for to get married. You know, had a location and DJ and everything. Um, but and we were wanting to stop, you know, until we get married. But of course, then she got married. Not married. She got pregnant, and so yeah, that took us by surprise.
How far along into the relationship was this?
Um, good question. It might have been about a year, I'll say, maybe a little before a year. Yeah.
From the time you met till.
Yes. And again, we had to change days for wedding and um, but unfortunately, around that time she was 4 months. By that time, we found out she was having a boy and stuff. But around the time she was 4 months, we everything fell apart and we went our separate ways. Which, for the second time, here it came again. I'm like, I did not do it just once, but twice, and it was horrific again. Just devastating. I did it again. Um,
Bringing a son into the world again without a father.
without a father, yeah. But it was hard. I was just crying and desperate and wanting to get here. I'm somebody help me, you know. Um, but again, I'm at this point I'm a Christian and I think the Holy Spirit helped me sit down and think. What are your options? I was thinking, what are my options? So either I take my life. I can't because I, as a Christian, don't believe that's even possible, I guess. I don't know. And especially knowing the outcome, I'm like, not an option. Either I become a couch potato and let my life just go to waste. Um, and I was like, well, that would make it really hard on my both of them, both of my kids. And if I ever have to do nothing but move forward, I'm just gonna make it way harder because at that point it's gonna be way harder to move forward. Um, so the third option was um make a change, put them first, fight for them, be here for them, um, and let God redeem whichever part can be redeemed. Um, and that's the one I took. I was like, that's my only option. I cannot give up. I cannot waste my life. I can not sit here and do nothing. It's not gonna fix anything. So I took that third option and decided to give it all I got.
Matthew would have been 10 at this
Matthew was
point.
10. Yes, Matthew was 10 when Maddox was born in 2019. And yeah, he came. He's a beautiful boy. Super smart, just like his brother, and that's probably why I'm not smart. Anyways, um, no, but yes, I just ever since then just loneliness, wanting some connection, uh, wanted to try something with somebody else, but nah, just I couldn't. I just couldn't. Um,
Am
but yeah,
I am I correct that you had some transactional marriages offered to you around this time?
and before that, yes, right. So I was a citizen of, like I said before, my mom came, and I have friends that was literally like 3 times or maybe more. It was about 4 times, but 3 times were like laid out in front of me, like, hey, if you get married to this person,
From the Dominican Republic, right? Mm-hmm.
yes, they were all from the Dominican Republic. Yeah, you will get at least $10,000. Um, you don't have any commitment. Once that you get married, you bring this person here. You can divorce, whatever, and yeah, just keep your money and move forward.
Which is actually not super uncommon, as I understand, right?
Right,
For men from the United States to marry women
right,
from other countries or vice versa
right. Yeah, because
for money, basically.
when
You
you
get them
marry,
up here, they get their
exactly,
citizenship, you divorce. Yeah.
exactly. But something about it was not. Obviously, I felt like it was not biblical. I just like, I don't have a peace. Like, I just can't do this. Um,
Devil sure was trying to take my man before I could
yeah,
get to you.
yeah. So all 3 times I was like, I need the money, but I don't need the headache. So I'll take the peace and the poor route and keep your money. It could have been 10 or more thousands of dollars. And everything else would have been covered, whatever else was needed. But I just, yeah, put that all threw that all out the window. And I'm so thankful I did because of you. So at this point, yeah, I'm here with another child and just trying and working and
Living in
living
Allentown
now
with your
with
mom.
my mom,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And I was working as an electrician um, for a company that hires different trades. the general contractor was German Baptist, young guy, and yeah, going through all that hard stuff with my new son. Um, Remember we had a few conversations, and at one point I said, "Hey, pray for me." I asked for prayers, and like, "Sure, sure, we'll pray for you." And and one point he came to me, he's like, "Oh, maybe the answer for your prayer could be like we would like to we have a how family owned business and uh, Christian group, and we wonder if you would like to work for us." And I was like, "Whoa, wasn't ready for that." But I was tired of working in an environment where you know you get all kinds of foul language, and people will be open about their just dirty, like talking about women like trash and all these things. I'm like, man, I don't want to be in this environment. I know there's something better out there. There's more than just. I just need a clean, uplifting environment. I just want to be surrounded by decent, solid group of people. And so I took the job after a few interviews, started working construction for a group of German Baptist people. uh, the only colored person in the at the job and at that time, and from there on it was just started connecting. I met Working there. I met one of my best friends, kid that is like 15 years younger than me. His name is Ben. I know he's okay if I mention his name, but it just became close. He was going through hard things, and he saw me as a normal, uh, full of life kind of guy. I guess
And
that's
probably a person that wasn't controlled by religion like a lot of the people in his life were.
yeah. And he just wanted to connect, and so was I, because I felt like, man, you're also such a cool kid, and yeah, that was the most amazing thing that could have happened, because through him I gained his whole family. Three other brothers that he has, um, and amazing parents, and he has three sisters.
Like the family you never had.
No kidding. It was like what I needed when I needed it.
And also, interestingly enough, people who had come from non-Mennonite background and had also joined the Mennonites
Right. Yes.
much previously to your finding them.
Yeah. Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your first impressions with the German Baptists.
No
Like the
kidding.
church services.
Yeah, I visited their church a few times, and I was like, man, this is hard. Yeah. Honestly, I just love the family, the way the family connections are, how the community, the I feel like they have, sounds harsh, but they have so much more life, and some of the Amish people too, than than the Mennonite.
I feel that way too, actually. German Baptists have a lot of really great family values,
Yes.
and they just treat the whole relationship, connection, family thing differently and put it on maybe a higher priority than
Right.
a lot of Mennonites.
Yes. It's just so much. I don't know. So healthy and open, and at the same time obviously protecting the women and the
Mm.
children. But
I wish we had Matthew here to share his perspective of his first German Baptist service
yeah,
and
I
all
don't.
the kissing that went on.
Yeah, I do not know why these people had to sing in such a different way, but whatever. That's
How do
that.
they sing?
Well, they don't have. It's just the lyrics. They don't have the what's it called, the
Mm-hmm.
musical notes,
Mm-hmm.
and a sentence you would say. how great thou art. They would stretch the how for years, the how great for years, and the thou art for years. And I just don't know how they can do that. But hey, that's on them. But
And also your first time witnessing the
the holy kiss.
holy kiss.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that was also. Yeah, Matthew can say it, but like out loud. But at one time, I was like, when I saw, it, I was like, wow, that's different. And when I took him, remember he said he was just like, yeah, when I saw this is kind of cringy. It cringed me, uh, because yeah, the men kiss each other in the lip to say when they say
Mhm.
hi, and the women also do that.
And it's because they believe it is a biblically correct greeting and the way
Mm-hmm.
we are commanded to greet each other.
Greet your fellow um,
Greet the
brother
brethren with the holy
with
kiss
the holy
has
kiss. Yeah,
been, yeah, it says it
yeah,
a few places in the Bible, and that was a very cultural thing
yes.
when the Bible was written, and so a lot of churches still practice it today. But for and yeah, there's truly nothing like super cringe about it. Whenever you've been used to doing it your whole life,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing gay about
Right,
it,
exactly. No.
but it's weird. And
Mm-hmm.
coming from the outside, especially, is like, what is happening?
Exactly. Yeah, it's crazy. uh, but again, different cultures do their things different ways, and I don't think it's necessarily. I think it was little. How was it? I remember a little after that, the COVID hit, and yeah, I don't have too much memory about how but I know that was difficult. Um, but it was an amazing thing. That was a season of my life that, yeah, definitely had to happen, and one thing led to the other, to another, and um, like I said, I just visited the church probably like 2 or 3 times, and
Just couldn't quite see yourself wearing a straight cut suit and a black hat.
no, definitely not, and the beard without mustache, I can't. So again, with my friend, um, and his family, they moved, they transitioned from one church to another, and when they did, I started visiting their church, and few like 2 years later, I think I really wanted to be in the country.
So you were still living in Allentown.
Right,
Yeah.
I was driving 40 to 45 minutes every one way every day to come to work. Um, and so yeah, I was still at that time just figuring out things, and felt like my life was improving. Um, and but at the same time, I felt like I still need to be surrounded fully to give my kids a better foundation, a
To be
better
surrounded fully.
by people who love like put family at a high place, and God. So yeah, once I was experiencing the culture, I was like, man, I and the country, I want to be in that. I want to be part of that. And I guess at that point, obviously, also I didn't know some of the brokenness that, but that was, I mean,
You
that,
saw the beautiful side of
yeah,
the culture first, and
yeah.
that's great. That's
I,
how it was
s-
supposed to be.
I think I saw some of the dark things too, but like I didn't I didn't let that stop me. I knew that one way or another, just the family values was enough for me. And again, yeah, I fell in love with my my friend's family,
And
and
your friend's family were Mennonites. Did you want to say a little more about the setting that the church would have been
they were not
in?
a strict Mennonites. I don't even know if the church is considered Mennonite. It's a plain church, so
They would be considered Anabaptist, I believe.
right, some
Do you
sort
want
of
to say what church it is?
no,
No.
and no, I'll leave that all out. But so yeah, I got an opportunity to move my own place, cheap rent, and closer to work and closer to the place where I can do church. And I figure, hey, if I'm driving 5 times a week this way, I can drive at least 3 times back to Allentown to be with my mom and my boys. And I did that for a while. My son was really excited to see me. Like, he enjoys the country too, and the people, and so it was good for him. And I had that support. I was able to take him for the weekend with me to be here with me, and so that was going well. Um, and like I said, I just wanted to be at a place where I'm not saying that Allentown is an evil place, because that's obviously not true. Everywhere in this planet is there's evil and there's good. Again, I just felt alone. I just felt um, spiritually alone. I needed to be a healthy person.
And you knew that in order to be a healthy person, you needed connection.
I needed connection, good connections, yes. And God gave me all that. Like, I remember I would pray, and like, God gave me that friend that, at least that friend like David had, David and Jonathan.
Mm.
And I remember I was like shocked, because I was like, man, not did I only get that, but I got a whole family. They know who they are. They're amazing, and they have been a critical part of my last few years. Um, they just, I don't know what they saw in me, but they love me too unconditionally, and that was enough for me to put him on in a pedestal. And my son, yeah, he loves them. They love him, and
They're one of those beautifully unique families that can see past culture and stereotypes to the heart of a person. And
yeah,
I think that's largely because, well, they're very good-hearted people and they're full of Christ. But also, they weren't raised with the Mennonite culture as superior. And so they received you
right,
regardless of your past and helped you believe in your future.
right, yes, and that is, I guess that's one of the things we want to fight here for. Just want to exalt that. That's how Christ sees us. Like, he doesn't say, "Oh, you're Samaritan. Um, I'll get back to you another time."
He does not have a
Yeah,
filing system.
right. You're not a Samaritan. You're a human, with the same value as this person here, that Jewish or whatever. Everybody has the same value, whether you're in a position of power, or you're living on the streets. And yes, it was. This is how I got to the culture, and this is, I'll say, in a quick, express way to tell my story. Did I miss anything, you think?
Sure.
You have any questions?
Yeah, I think, we should clarify that the church you were going to church now with your friend Ben and his family, which was a fairly conservative Anabaptist church. Like, the women would have covered their heads.
Right.
Believe in one man and one woman for life. A lot of really good Anabaptist values. And I think it is so important to point out as well that connection is where you found healing. And where your whole life search finally came to fruition. That your whole life, this is what you were looking for. And because you didn't find it, that cycle of shame and trying again, failing, more shame,
Right.
could have created a very purposeless and miserable and broken life. And it took somebody to see past that, past the shame, to the person who you really wanted to be, the person you were inside, and say, hey, you're welcome here.
Right.
Regardless of who you were.
Right.
And to give you a place, a belonging and value for the first time ever. And that is when your life really started looking different.
Yes.
And I just feel like that's what we are all called to as followers of Jesus, is to provide that place of connection and belonging for everyone, regardless of skin color and background and culture and past choices and all of that, because none of that limits Jesus' work in a person. We just have to we're not here to save people. We're just here to provide a space where they can be, where they can feel safe,
Right.
where they can experience Jesus. And Jesus does the saving and the renewal and the redemption.
For sure.
And we'd like to think, there's a lot of stories out there where someone lives a very broken, sinful life and suddenly meets Jesus and kaboom, everything changes. And they walk in victory and have, a perfect story from then on. Not a perfect story. None of us have that.
No, exactly. Mine is not perfect yet.
But your story is the story of a walk, constantly searching for why am I here? Like, yeah.
Right. Yes.
Do I have value? Knowing intrinsically in your heart that you were created for something greater. And pursuing that and falling and getting back up again.
Right. Yeah.
And Jesus redeeming every little detail along the way.
Amen.
And I feel like the real redemption that happened in you and in me was brought about by our dating relationship and our courtship. That's kind of when God finished the breaking and the renewal.
Right.
Is that the right way to say it?
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
Because my story, as is coming up soon, is such a it's sort of like a version of your story, only in a very, very different setting of trying to walk and not being led and falling down, messing up, and God still being there.
Yep.
Somehow.
Always. Yeah, I always said that I wouldn't take anything out of my story, knowing that I would have ended up in His hands. Like, the hard things I went through with my kid. My first child was hard, but it was necessary to come to Him, and He was writing the story, and it was a redemptive story. I know the first part of my first episode, I was struggling. I was like, felt like I was ashamed. I looked back to the video and I was like, should tell it with a little more passion, because it's all about the fact that I was redeemed, and not sure if I did better this time, but I'm just excited. My life is not perfect by any means now, or that, but
you're renewed every day.
Yes, and
it's beautiful.
I'm just happy that we have Him, no matter what happens in life.
That shame cycle is done, over with.
Right. The shame cycle is done, and God is more real than before to my eyes. There's a beautiful circle of great people that love us and support us, and we love them back, of course. It's just yeah, I never going through all that for so many years, I felt like I would never have this. And by this I mean people group, and by people group I don't mean plain people. I mean people who love us, and just
people of God.
Yeah, people of God who love us. It's quite amazing.
And people who can see your sons, our sons, as creations of God here for a purpose, not an oops somewhere on your story, both of those boys are here for a reason.
Amen. Yep.
And this will come out a little more in our love story when we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about it. But one thing that we faced a lot of was a lot of people who believe that our boys somehow, because they were born not out of a marriage, but
Mm-hmm.
because of the circumstances surrounding their births, that they're somehow less legitimate
Mm-hmm.
individuals. And
Yeah.
that comes completely from my culture. That in your
Right.
culture is not even a thing. And that is something that we'll bring out more later.
Yeah.
But the act of sin that created these boys has absolutely nothing to do with their value as a human being and
Mm-hmm.
being selected by
Right.
God
Yeah, for sure.
to
I
come
he-
into this world
I heard.
and
I forget who I heard say that there's no such thing as a illegitimate child. It's there are illegitimate parents.
hmm,
Um, there's so many things in life that I'm just like, man, this is like putting two and two together and getting four. And some people seems to like put two and two together and get five or three. Um, it just makes so much sense that what I did wasn't my kid's fault. But there's somehow the blindness and the ignorance of some people. They think that your kids is their fault or they don't count.
or they somehow have to bear the consequences now and
Exactly.
they're
Human beings, like created in the image of God. Like, how dare you even think? I don't know, but we're here to stand up against those things and yeah, live a life that. I mean, obviously, if you're a drug addict or living on the street and you have a child, the child is gonna bear the consequences and those pains. But so I'm not saying the child is the consequences can but like the value of the child is the same as the value of the parents that are doing drugs on the street. They're humans. We are nobody to take the value of another human being
mm-hmm.
and diminish it. Like only God can do
And
that.
I can speak as a stepmom, I guess, from my mama heart, but they are very special boys. And I
Oh yeah,
would never erase the part that they played in your story and the
yeah.
fact that they are in our lives today. I can't imagine not getting to love them.
Right. Well, we'll talk more about in our story. Now time for your story. But
Yeah.
there a little I guess a little snippet into that part. They extremely love my wife. And my wife would die for them.
Mm.
So how did I get that lucky? I don't know. But it's beautiful. It's amazing to
And they
see that.
have very sweet, beautiful moms too that
Yeah.
I have just been so
Yeah.
blessed to be able to connect with. I feel like their moms have been absolute rock stars in the way
Mm.
they've let me love their sons.
Yeah.
If I was in their shoes, I think I don't know if I would have related as well as they did always. I just love their moms so much. We have a good relationship, and
Yeah.
I just want to bless those ladies.
Yeah. There's some respect going on in between all of us that yeah, we also just always we fight for the kids. They're the one that matters the most.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that's my story. Still buy the memoir. When it comes out, it's probably gonna be 25 years at least. So save some money for that. Anyways, this is going probably a little past an hour. So
Mm-hmm. My story comes next, I guess.
yes, hopefully you can tell it without having to hold another person. It's any time now. So again, pray for us and pray for little baby to come safe and sound
And
and
soon.
and soon. But we hope that you be blessed with whatever was said in my story.
And just be encouraged that whatever the details are of your story, God's not done with you yet. He's not done with us yet either. But look who's here.
Right.
In
Married to
comparison, in comparison to that lost, broken, shameful individual that didn't believe he was worthy of connection and value, and lived so many years just searching and so lonely. And God did amazing things.
Yes,
It's going to keep on coming out as our stories continue.
Amen.
And God's going to do amazing things for you too.
100%. Just stay strong. Have hope in
Keep
Him.
Searching.
Yes.
Keep believing, like
Amen.
Juan said so many times, that there's something bigger that you were created for.
All of us. That's absolutely like every human being was created for so much, not to just. Anyway, I'm not gonna put examples, but you are created for a lot. Believe that. Look to Him. Give your life to Him. Yeah, that's you. How was it like the phrase? The freest man is the one who becomes a slave of a perfect master. I'm butchering it, but you get the point. We are slave to something, all of us. We serve something, either ourselves or food or sex or something, and all that leads to nowhere. But God, man, that's beautiful. But God.
It makes all the difference.
Yes.
And just want to encourage you as well. And as we listen to Juan's story, you heard that he found Jesus, and that didn't mean that he never stumbled again. So if you feel like, yes, you did have an encounter with Jesus, you are trying to walk with him, and you're feeling like you're stumbling and falling a lot, that doesn't mean you've fallen from grace. God's not done working with you yet. Just keep pushing in towards him.
Amen.
Keep coming back.
Yeah. And just a clarification here. We are not here to pray prosperity gospel. We're here to pray, proclaim and pray and speak grace, redemption, healing, and give God the glory for all of that. And because He's the one that does that. Like I said in the beginning, in the intro, the Christian life is a painful life, but it's the life, the beautiful one. Thank you again for being here. Pray for us. Never gonna get tired saying that. And you will see us on the next one. Adios. Now I know in part, then I will know fully, even as I have been fully known. Now abide faith, hope, and love. These three. The greatest of these is love.